You may have seen the video behind the scenes of the film A Dog's Purpose that seemed to imply that a dog was traumatized on the set. Here's a look at that.
Don't worry, it's warm water at least. Well, he ain't gonna calm down until he goes in the water. Just gotta throw him in. Oh, here he goes. Oh no! Okay, you get his feet wet, he learns it's not cold. Look, he wants to go in. Oh, he wants to get away. Just throw him in. Oh, here it goes. Oh, he's gonna end up going in with him. Here, boy. Oh, no.
Now, the way that originally appeared on TMZ, a lot of people were up in arms. Following that, there has been a statement released by the AHA, the American Humane Association, that said this: an independent third-party investigation conducted by a respected animal cruelty expert into the treatment of animals in the filming of A Dog's Purpose concluded that an edited video given to the gossip site TMZ mischaracterized the events on the set. The decisions by the individual or individuals captured and deliberately edited the footage and then waited longer than 15 months to release the manipulated video only days before the movie's premiere raised serious questions about their motives and ethics. Now, there's a lot of people online who said, I told you so. I knew that that was the case. It seemed like they edited it within an inch of its life to make it seem like this dog went through something terrible, followed by other comments from the trainers who said that this dog was chosen for his love of the water, and had been training for months for this scene, and it was, yes, there was a moment where he was upset, but we waited till that passed. That's one thing. Now, we'll give you some stuff in a little bit about a counter-argument to this potentially from Samantha Shocker, even though she's not here today. But first, thoughts, 5 words or less.
Always double-check your sources.
Happy ending-ish?
Oh, my dog. Which is God spelled backwards.
Yeah.
It was terrible. That 5 words was terrible. I didn't have a good one.
I thought that was kind of brilliant, actually, B.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is the statement of the AHA. But it seems like the AHA, depending on how you look at them, might be independent, might be in the pocket of big movie and television. What's
So what I would ask everyone to do is just to take the time to go over to The Hollywood Reporter. There's a 2013 article that Sam sent our way that I read that was really helpful. It's about the AHA, and it's called No Animals Were Harmed. And it's a little bit about just sort of their practices. What are the regulations that we're talking about? Is this sort of, is this a fail-safe agency? And this article from The Hollywood Reporter says they get some things right, they've improved some things over time, they get a lot of things wrong. So by a lot of media outlets are saying that because the AHA came out and said this, that therefore everything that we said was true was not true, and basically right is left and left is right, and all is good now because the AHA came out and said that no animals were harmed. Well, there is a really interesting article from The Hollywood Reporter that sort of calls that a little bit into question. What Sam Shocker, who was unable to be with us here today, wanted you guys to know, let me read this. Basically, she cites the article that I referred you guys to, and she says there are countless other cases too, just Google it, but the AHA will deny most claims, and since Luck was canceled on HBO because of the horses injured and one dying on set, they have made improvements, but is it enough? I hate how people are automatically taking the AHA's word as gospel that no animals were harmed, when clearly that dog was in distress, even if only for a minute. When you see it in the beginning, editing has nothing to do with that. Last, the AHA also approves foster farms' chicken living conditions / regulations and their slaughter practices as humane when they are not humane. The AHA does keep animals safe on set generally, yes. Without them, who knows what would happen to the animals, but so thank God they are there, but they need to do a hell of a lot better, in my opinion. I don't even like using animals in entertainment, period. There is always room to grow and be better. The AHA needs to do better. So that's what Sam wants you guys to know. And I really found the article from The Hollywood Reporter fascinating. It talks a little bit about the treatment from the life of Pi and a little bit about the people that have worked on the AHA and how they are in the pocket of some production companies and some film studios. So it's just important to be aware. check everything. Double check your sources if a statement is coming out, especially in today's day of fake news and alternative facts, whatever you want to call that. It's just important to do the due diligence, check out everything, know where everything's coming from. The AHA is doing a lot of good for the animals, but we're still a long shot away. We shouldn't take their word as gospel. I do agree with that.
Well, Sam was very passionate about this. When you guys first did the video, I wasn't here that day when you first brought the story to light on Pop Trigger, and then the email she sent this weekend. The question I echo everything she said in that email, and also yes, the article was enlightening and eye opening for me for sure because I've never had pets. And so I don't share the same passion for animals as a lot of people do, and I should, and I'm learning to do that. But I wanted to know why would they edit a video of this dog to damage the image of this movie? What was the reasoning behind that? And why would someone do that? Also, it's a dog movie. It's not like it's about drugs or violence. It's a dog movie.
Yeah.
Who would have the sick nature to say, let's throw this movie under the bus, which, by the way, did very well in its opening weekend in spite of the drama it's been going through.
Super Bowl weekend is a weekend where you throw shit movies. You premiere shit movies because people are not going to films; they're going to watch the Super Bowl. It debuted at #2 on a weekend where you just throw crap out. The film's approach, the whole idea of it seems super gimmicky and tear-jerky and almost pandering. It's the idea that a dog's spirit makes it from dog to dog forever and is there to help you humans in case of struggle. And it just seemed like such an inadvertently tear-jerking, pander porn, dog sadness porn, and I hate that. And so I would see everyone has to draw the line of what they think is inexcusable, and then they have to come up with tactics to fight for what they believe in. It seems like this person who edited this video was probably saying look, there's a moment at the beginning where this dog obviously doesn't want to be there, which makes me question whether we need films where we make dogs perform for us. Now, maybe on the whole, that dog in that film is not the worst off any dog has ever been on a set, but my tactic will be to make it look the worst possible, because it was bad at one point, and show it to you so you guys will look at it and be like, oh my God, that's ridiculous. And maybe get folks to be like, maybe we shouldn't put dogs through this. Now, dogs, I'd say, are different from other animals. They're a pack animal. Dogs that do drug sniffing seem to do more bonding because they get way more interaction than your average dog with their owner/master. But when it comes down to this, when I see dogs and animals in movies, I just think, oh my God, what a weird situation. There's other animals that they make do stuff that this isn't part of their natural dynamic. They just want to eat.
Yeah, I also think it's important that we don't see this only in absolutes. So some people are saying, oh, obviously this person had a clear agenda. They released it days before the film premiered. They sat on the footage and edited it for 15 months. That is true. They definitely did have an agenda, the person that released it. But we can also say that that's true while there was some mishandling of the dog. That also is true. And I think that when we look at this situation, a lot of people online are saying either there was no abuse and this is just sort of we're lighting a fire, or there was absolute abuse and this movie should be completely banned forever. And I think that we have to stop looking at this in absolutes. I think it's a little bit more nuanced than that. We have to critique the association that put out this statement, and we have to critique the person that sat on the footage for 15 months and edited it and allowed there to be such a debate surrounding this footage. Release the whole thing, release it unedited. Let's talk about how we treat animals in films. Let's talk about how we use animals in films. What is the purpose of it?
It's for our delight.
Well, I don't think having animals in film is bad. I think, why is that a bad thing? I think mistreating and misusing anyone or anything's bad in general. That's for a human regardless. But you said that you don't watch, if I heard you correctly, watching animals in movies now is weird for you?
Just in general, I think the concept of you can see, I did an interview with a guy who does that for a living. And most of the time they just have a piece of treat on the end of a stick. And the dog, when it looks like it's nodding, they're just moving the stick. So when I see it, I just know, I can't get inside this dog as a character.
Sure.
And unless it's fully animated.
I think there's a place for it. I think that we just need to critique how it's done and if it's done responsibly. And I also think that I agree with you on the dog, on the purpose of or not on the purpose, but on the discussion of a dog's purpose is like totally pandering, and it does seem sort of like tear jerky porn, which is fine if that's what you're into, you know, but I think that we should be able to sort of debate whether or not that's the sort of entertainment we really want. And money talks, and this movie didn't do so great, and it was released on sort of a shitty weekend, so, you know, maybe we'll see less and less of it. But I think that there are some movies with animals in them that I did enjoy. My Dog Skip, I really like that one. Like there are,
I get it.
There are movies that use animals in a way that I like, and then there are movies where it just seems like this is sort of unnecessary, and you're putting animals through a lot of sort of a confusing, strenuous time that isn't furthering anything. And we should be using entertainment as sort of a mirror to what we are experiencing. And this is just sort of, do you want to go to the movies and cry?
Dogs in particular, the reason that they are, like certain breeds of dogs are what they are today is because we were like, we need you to hunt stuff for us. We need you to bark when danger's near. We're literally putting you between us and dangerous things. So, and they've developed that. We've bred into them that the dogs who have that kind of behavior, that are loyal and friendly and depend on us for food in exchange for some kind of service, like sheep dogs and all that stuff. And the dogs seem to really enjoy that kind of stuff. It's just so strange that sometimes you see animals in these films where like it has to swim through a perilous situation, and like there is gonna be, with a lot of people around, no matter how well trained that dog is, it's gonna freak out. That happens with actors too. I think this dog was probably a lot easier to work with than some actors on set. But I don't know. I think it's strange. Like the show Luck, like a horse died and horses were getting hurt all the time. It's just a weird situation for us to put animals through. I mean, I don't know. I'm more inclined to say, like, I just think when you put an animal on set, it's going to be pretty difficult.
Well, so with that said, though, I mean, everyone knows I do a show called RuPaul's Drag Race, and there was one challenge on the show where we had 6 dogs on set, and they had 6 handlers there was a collie, a pit bull, a bunch of different breeds. And the way that these handlers handled the dog was amazing. The dogs were there was no altercation. There was no discord between the dogs or the people on set. So I think dogs in movies is going to continue. Unfortunately, I know you guys feel strong about that. It's going to continue.
Well, I don't have anything against dogs in movies. I just think we should critique how we're doing it.
Right, and also another conversation we should be having is with these agencies that are in the pockets of the movie studios.
Right,
because in the article that you guys will read on the Hollywood Reporter, there's an email from a lady who openly says, there was a close call with this one situation, and then says, keep it under wraps. That's what we need to focus on, not the animals in.
Right, and listen, you read all the time about professional actors who are hurt on the set of their movies, and everyone's taking every precaution possible. The difference is, I feel like I'm channeling Sam here, is like a human can go, I think I've heard all the dangers and I've said, okay, I'm fine with it. But a dog is just like, all right, where's the food at?
Right.
I know I'm supposed to sit, I'm really well trained, but like the dog, according to this guy that I interviewed, they're just very food motivated, and a lot of them are waiting for that and
they don't know it's for a movie. That's the other thing. Like an actor can be like, okay, I need to get this scene. It's a crucial scene, so I really want to do my own stunts because they're going to have a close-up of me in the water.
Right, to train the dogs for movies, what they'll do is if the dog's freaked out, they put the cameras on the ground and just get the dog used to having that kind of thing around. And then it forgets that doesn't think of it as a threat. They pick the cameras up. So these dogs have been through a training process that did involve the dog probably just freaking out, like, what the fuck are all these cameras doing? What are all these lights? Why are there so many people staring at me? It's weird. It's a tough process, and it doesn't have the kind of feedback and linguistic interaction that a human can have.
But I like that what happened on the set of A Dog's Purpose did make news, because now we're talking about it, and we're talking about the agencies and the organizations that are involved with making sure these animals stay safe. Whereas before, a lot of what I was reading sort of was under wraps. Like there was a major incident that happened on the set of The Life of Pi that we never heard about, because the AHA did a really good job and got the stamp of approval. No animals were harmed during the making of this film. So you never never talk about this sort of thing. And it's important that we talk about how we treat animals for entertainment. We should be having this conversation. So if this film that, definitely was maliciously put out there is causing us to talk about it, then great. Then that's what we should be doing.
Very quickly, so they get the stamp, seal of approval, no animals are harmed during the making of this film. So if an animal was harmed, would that be disclosed as well in the credits of the film too?
I don't think necessarily. Like, they wouldn't be like, this guy, here's a photo of him.
Like,
no,
for the
but
Hobbit,
I mean, maybe not. What
for The Hobbit, there were a bunch of sheep and sort of livestock that died when they went on a filming hiatus, and they were left on this farm and they weren't monitored, even though there was a member of the AHA that was supposed to sort of monitor the farm. They still got the stamp of approval that no animals were harmed during the making of this film, because they weren't making a film when the livestock died. Like, you know what I mean? There are little loopholes here and there, and it's important to just educate yourself on what's happening behind the scenes. And that's all. That we're not saying that anything's, lies and this, you believe nothing that you're being told, but just educate yourself.
I think there's a temptation for oversimplification that a lot of us, I've done it before, where it's just like, oh, it seems like this. I saw a headline that implies these people are terrible. That's refreshing for a lot of us to be like, oh, it's easy to wrap my mind around these people being bad, boycott these people. And it's just not the case. And you owe it to yourself and the things you're trying to protect to get to the bottom of it all. Thanks for listening to that discussion. I feel better.
Do you want to cry again?
Yeah, I cried this morning while I was watching Super Bowl commercials. It was bad. All right, we love you dearly and your family, even though sometimes they don't listen. Talk to you next time. Bye.